KREM 2 News begins now.
Hello, thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Tim Pham. In the next half hour, we'll get you caught up on some of the biggest stories in the Inland Northwest this past week.
Yeah, just hours ago, Wyatt Armstrong faced a Kootenai County judge. He is accused of randomly firing into traffic while standing in the middle median of the interstate. 23-year-old Wyatt Armstrong faces several charges, including 2 felonies and a DUI. Idaho State Police say Monday night around 8, he parked his pickup in the middle of the interstate near the state line and started shooting.
He fired a total of 40 to 41 rounds, striking at least one other vehicle and his own.
A customer reported the gunshots to Danielle Archuleta, who works nearby.
We came out to check it out, and you could hear the cops yelling for someone to surrender, the dogs barking, him yelling back.
She shot this brief video of the response that shut down the interstate.
I was a little nervous. I was like, should I lock up?
Court records show Armstrong was drunk. He blew a .13 on a breathalyzer. The prosecutor asked his bond be set at $150,000.
This is my first time I've ever been in trouble other than a speeding ticket.
Instead, the judge ruled the accusations concerning enough. Armstrong will have to pay $500,000 if he wants out of jail. Idaho State Police say no one was hurt.
No, it was just a crazy event. Like, for us being a slow and quiet night, it was probably a eventful night for us.
Idaho State Police said that for all of those rounds Armstrong is accused of firing, only one semi-truck and his own pickup were hit. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Spokane City Council voted unanimously to allow COPS funding or community-oriented policing services through the city in 2025. The organization is designed for the community to help in areas the public may not feel comfortable calling the police about. Since 1991, they've received $500,000 from the city each year, but it was announced that funding would go towards a request for proposals, or RFP. Their previous contract would have expired at the end of this month. Now, for the first 3 months of the year, Spokane COPS will be funded through what is called bridge funding. Executive Director for COPS, Jeff Johnson, says there's been speculation on not providing adequate data. At Monday night's meeting, he says he set the record straight.
No one ever asked me for program numbers. I knew we had a new chief coming. I did a little bit of research and found he was very numbers driven, all right? So I put together numbers. How much do we NOP? How much do we do this? How much do we do that? Gave the numbers to the chief, gave the numbers to the mayor.
Mayor Lisa Brown has until 3 p.m. on Tuesday to sign the extension. If not, Council President Wilkerson has the authority to authorize it. Members of Spokane COPS hope their perception in the community with this new funding into 2025 grows. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News. For the first 3 months of 2025, Spokane COPS, or Community-Oriented Policing Services, is going to continue their work with the city, helping them with funding. And it's something that the executive director tells me was a shock when they voted in favor of it.
We went from hoping to get a 4-3 and slide through to having a 7-0 unanimous vote.
Since 1991, Spokane COPS has worked with the city, providing non-emergency services, aiding the police. Executive Director Jeff Johnson says the support from multiple volunteers who spoke on Monday night's meeting helped get the $125,000 through bridge funding, ending in March of next year. He says the feelings, not the numbers, got them the money.
It's the fact that it's a safe place. People feel good coming there, and we get people help. We get people the help that they need.
That money will keep them funded through March. During that time, COPS will compete with other nonprofits for additional funding through the city. Councilmember Kitty Klitsky says the bridge funding works as a temporary solution so the nonprofit can find other means to get support.
I think that every single one of your volunteers and board members have lots and lots of friends that could also help out getting through this bridge funding.
Johnson says that's an option they're considering as a whole.
Taking things private rather than work contractually with the police and the city, maybe go down the private road.
But he says no matter if they get the funding or not, he's hopeful whoever gets it will use it wisely.
Spokane COPS is about crime prevention, and I, for one, am very hopeful that if we don't get it, that what replaces us is not focused on criminal advocacy.
But for now, the organization is continuing to provide service to those who need it with continued support from the city. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Early this year, a DNR investigation concluded faulty electrical lines on an inland power light pole sparked Medical Lake's Gray Fire. The August 2023 fire killed one man and destroyed more than 10,000 acres, 240 homes, and 86 outbuildings. Now, DNR is suing the utility company for some of the $3.4 million it spent fighting and investigating the fire. Some of that is expected to be paid through federal grants. But in October, the agency requested IPL reimburse nearly $940,000, but said Inland Power refused. DNR argues IPL should have been on notice of a potentially dangerous condition, as neighbors had already reported the light flickering a year before. In response to previous lawsuits, Inland Power denied it's responsible, calling the Gray Fire an act of God. Court documents also reveal IPL has still not turned over what DNR believes a critical piece of evidence: this aluminum conductor pictured here. DNR says IPL had kept pieces of the light pole for its own expert analysis, agreeing to turn them over to state investigators. Inland Power now says it cannot locate the conductor, DNR's lawsuit says. Washington's Attorney General's office is handling the case for DNR. The AG's office and DNR declined to comment on the active litigation. IPL's attorney didn't respond to our requests for comment.
Coach Fortier learned she was battling stage 2 to 3 breast cancer that had spread to one of her lymph nodes. It presented yet another hurdle for last year's Kathy Delaney Smith Coach of the Year. I sat down with Coach Fortier to detail her battle with cancer and outlook on life moving forward.
I just feel like I'm not the same person, and so it's interesting to try to figure out how to feel. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be authentic to me and just take every day at a time.
Toward the end of 2023, Coach Fortier didn't feel like herself. Then in January, she found a lump while she was in the shower. After receiving tests a few weeks later, Fortier was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma.
I think I was caught off guard. My defenses were down a little bit. We'd had a little bit of a long week, and then just wondering what was next.
Fortier received the diagnosis at work and shared the news with her coaching staff, which includes her husband, Craig.
Definitely very shocked, caught off guard, which, sounds a little bit odd given that, we were doing tests and trying to figure things out, but just certainly didn't think that was what was next. And yeah, now you kind of went from not thinking about it to like trying to figure everything out all at once. So certainly a 180 pretty quick.
Complicating matters was the fact that the Zags were in the midst of one of their best seasons in program history and well on their way to making a run in the NCAA tournament. Fortier called a meeting to break the news to her team.
I think they were expecting just another team meeting, and so I think that they were really caught off guard. I think that they were pretty shocked.
The news was particularly startling to then junior guard Esther Little.
My mum actually got diagnosed with breast cancer, and then she's passed away now, but from a different cause. But it kind of hit home for me seeing Craig in that room too, because my dad has obviously raised me and my 2 siblings basically as a single dad since she passed away. So knowing the possibility of what could happen is the first thing that went through my mind.
I think that they were taken aback, but very quickly, Destiny and Brenna, I remember both of those 2 speaking up and asking what they could do for me, and then reminding me that they needed me to take care of myself and that they would be fine. And so it was really encouraging.
After consulting with her doctors, Coach Fortier decided to put off her treatment and surgery until after the season. Eventually, Fortier had a double mastectomy and would lose her hair due to chemotherapy and radiation treatment.
It's just a temporary thing that we have to go through right now, and that I believe that it's going to make me better on the other side of it, and the people around me for having gone through this. And so for whatever reason, this time I was able to kind of get there a little bit quicker than usual.
Fortier stepped away from the team for a period of time during the summer to focus on her health. Despite undergoing treatment, Fortier was determined not to miss this summer's Olympic Games in Paris so that she could be there for a few of her former players as well as senior forward Yvonne Ejim.
I think Coach was adamant that it was going to happen. I wasn't sure about all the logistics, but usually when she's adamant about something, it ends up happening.
I think a big part of me getting there was coming here, so very good that those two areas of my life could kind of clash together in that moment.
It's that selflessness and care for her players that led to Fortier's story being shared throughout the world of women's college basketball, as she received gifts and words of encouragement from several programs and big names across the industry.
I feel grateful for so many people who care about us, and just to have the mindset of we're going to be supportive of people. And that's our attitude, is we're going to love people well, and we do the best that we can. It's been wonderful how people have wrapped their hands around our family.
Not only that, but Fortier has also become a symbol of toughness and perseverance.
When I struggle to wake up in the morning and it's oh, it's a hard day, you just think, oh, my coach is going through cancer and going through treatment, but she's showing up to practice right now. I'm not dealing with a hard day, she's dealing with a hard day. So it just makes it easier to show up when you know your coach can battle through and has the strength to show up for you.
Fortier's battle has also highlighted her strongest qualities as a human being.
She's just very consistent, and she's more selfless than you think she is. I think those are two of the biggest things that I kind of learned from Coach Lisa, and just how she tackled that experience.
It was an opportunity to just see her at her best. I've seen her at her best before, but this was a kind of continual stretch, over the course of 5-6 months, where she was just trying to be the best version of herself for other people, for herself, for our family. And so I don't know that was a surprise, but certainly you're in awe for sure.
For anyone facing a difficult time ahead, Coach Fortier's message is simple.
You can do it. There were different stages where I didn't know if I could, even as positive as I am, but trying to get outside, breathe fresh air, and just look at every day as a gift is something that I've really tried, and I think that it's really helped ease a lot of what would otherwise be considered pain or struggle that I would have had if I didn't have that kind of attitude.
Coach Fortier will eventually receive another big surgery and will continue to make doctor visits every 3 months to get tests and blood work done to ensure she is cancer-free, all while trying to lead the Zags back to the NCAA tournament for the 8th consecutive season. In the studio, Andrew Quinn, KREM 2 Sports.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus for your KREM 2 News Weekend Review. It's been a busy week here in the Inland Northwest. Let's get you caught up on some of the news you might have missed.
Well, yeah, you can take a look right here behind me. It was a single car accident, a rollover. I'll step out of the way so we can get you to zoom in a little bit, but state troopers still investigating what particularly caused this accident. But early indications tell us that there were soft marks off the side of the road, which means it wasn't a high speed type of situation. It could have been a potential falling asleep behind the wheel or an impaired driver. Alcohol bottles were found in the vehicle, but it's too early to tell if the driver was impaired, and would have to wait until the blood results come back from this. Again, wheels off the roadway was the cause of the accident, and a 67-year-old male was killed. Next of kin has not been notified, but we did get a chance to speak with Washington State Patrol.
It looks like it did not negotiate the curve and went straight, and unfortunately, because of that person doing so, the vehicle rolled multiple times and the driver succumbed to those injuries.
WSP did also tell us that a caller reported it earlier this morning because of the location of the accident. It's possible that the driver was there for several hours and that the accident could have happened in the early morning hours. But once we find out any other information, we'll be sure to keep you updated across all KREM 2 platforms. But for now, reporting here in Fairfield, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Just a few hours ago, Moses Adedeji faced a judge for attempted murder and assault charges more than 5 months after police say he shot 2 people. Now he faces 2 counts each of attempted murder and first-degree assault. Police say he was involved in a fight outside the Globe Bar on Division in Maine, July 7th. Court records show he was identified by victims, witnesses, and surveillance video as the shooter. Investigators say a bus shelter camera caught him driving the wrong way to catch up to the victim's car before shooting and driving away. His attorney asked bond be set at $40,000, saying his client has almost no criminal record and was going to college and running his own business.
Your Honor, I understand the nature of these allegations, but when you look at his criminal record, you look at the things he's trying to do for himself, I just think $1 million is essentially tantamount to holding him without bond. Adedeji's roommate told police he left on a planned vacation shortly after the shooting. U.S. Marshals arrested him at a North Carolina airport in late July as he returned from the United Kingdom. Tonight, Adedeji's bond remains at that $1 million. His next court appearance is set for Christmas Eve. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Lindsey Johnson with Planned Parenthood says it's difficult to track the exact number of out-of-state abortions because Idahoans coming to Washington are reluctant to say where they're from.
We're seeing some folks that are filling out like hotel addresses, or they're giving us the address of the health center where they're being seen.
Johnson says she's seeing a perceived increase in Idaho patients traveling across state lines for the procedure.
Idaho is claiming that their abortion ban somehow supersedes these federal protections.
Misty Deli Carpini Tolman is the Idaho State Director for Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates. She says many Idaho residents are confused as to what law to follow. That confusion is present in medical facilities as well. St. Luke's Health System is Idaho's largest hospital system. The administration wrote a brief to the United States Supreme Court. They say they're in a position of risking state criminal liability by upholding a federal law guaranteeing treatment for a medical condition. That law is known as the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, or EMTALA. However, abortions in Idaho are only legal in cases of rape and incest in the first trimester with a police report or to prevent the death of the mother.
Laws make it difficult for them to provide information and care that patients need.
Idaho's Attorney General Raul R. Labrador supports the state regulation, saying in part, quote, Idaho's law is perfectly consistent with EMTALA, which provides explicit protections for unborn children in 4 separate places. Right now, staff and volunteers with Spokane Salvation Army are concerned about their food pantry as they're seeing a higher need compared to previous years. Empty shelf after empty shelf.
People have their hard times and good times, but we've seen more hard times coming through.
That's what Ron Bierson says is the norm at the Salvation Army food pantry for the past several months. Nearly 200 people showed up to the pantry Thursday, some leaving disappointed.
It's not every day we can get meat or potatoes or fruit.
Staff say they served 3,600 households in November alone, a 1,000 household increase according to the Salvation Army. A few months ago, the pantry had 117,000 pounds of food for people in need. As of December, they only have 75,000. And Bierson says this time of year causes a surge in demand.
Trying to get by for the Christmas holidays and everything like that. It's just, it's hard.
Hard for the charity providing what they can and for those who need it. Bierson says shelf-sustainable foods like canned goods and mixes that don't take a lot of prep are always encouraged to donate.
Whatever they can do, that goes a long way.
As he and others hope to see shelves restocked.
I'm going to stay a while and volunteer my time.
Bierson says they're always looking for more volunteers, especially over the next several months as we head in to colder weather. In Spokane, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
I know I say this every time I'm with an animal, but I am in love. This is Peril. We are in one of the cat rooms at Spokane celebrating Stock the Shelves. And I'm here to explain what that means with my good friend Whitney Ward. And you have a special cat. I was going to say a special person.
Well, basically a special little cat baby friend.
Who you haven't let down for hours.
I haven't. This is Kayak, one of the many, many kitties here who's just so loving and looking for a home. So sweet.
So we partnered with TDS for the KREM Care Stock the Shelves to make sure all the animals here at Spokane and families that need help have pet food, dog food and cat food that they need. And today is the day. You can drop off pet food all day long at any area at PetSmart. Rumor has it they're going to keep out those bins throughout the weekend. The sooner you get it to PetSmart, the sooner we get it to the shelter and to the families, because there's a food bank that they can use. We partnered with TDS, so they came in today to help us volunteer. And you're what we call sort of a volunteer success / failure, in that you came in to volunteer to help, and then you ended up adopting one. You love animals.
I do. I really do. And at TDS, we absolutely care for our community. I accidentally adopted a cat.
Oops. Accident on purpose?
Yes, and he is wonderful. They all need homes, even our special needs kitties. But yeah, TDS, we're here on behalf of TDS Cares. We just love our community. We love animals and providing a voice for those that don't have it, like Peril and Kayak.
What I love is she didn't want to come on camera, and we were like, oh, you're coming on camera. You are the absolute success story. So we wanted to say thank you. So stock the shelves. The food will go to Spokane. It can be used here inside the shelter. It can be given out at their food bank to families that are trying to do the right thing and feed their pets. It's hard right now, expensive, and we just want to make sure everyone, and that includes these guys, have the best holiday season ahead. So stock the shelves, get to PetSmart now, and we appreciate whatever you can do so much. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News Weekend Review. For the most current news throughout the weekend, you can watch our latest newscast and weather forecast right here on KREM 2 Plus. Just look for the video in the bottom navigation menu. I'm Tim Pham. Thanks for watching.